Okay, stop talking about Amy.
Hey.
I heard that one, Brendan. I know you all just miss me too much. You can't stop talking about me.
Oh, that's it.
We are live on Facebook right now.
Turn the cup so you can see the Buffalo Bills.
Oh. Hi, Rich.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. So is this Dan Gates' phone number?
There's several. What's the number?
343
Yes, that's him.
0878.
I think that's him, yeah.
That's Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Yes.
Printer is not. I don't think it's connected. Can you keep a list for me if I miss somebody?
You got it. It was not showing everybody on screen.
That's why I'm asking for a list. I don't see them.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, how we doing? Happy New Year, everybody.
Here as well.
Wow.
Okay.
John on yet?
No,
So we've got
Dan
Tim,
Crocker's coming in.
thanks.
Really sure.
Rich.
Is it on speaker here?
Dan, let's see, is Dan Gates on yet?
Yes.
Dan Gates,
I don't think so.
and I know Brian's coming.
I didn't put it on speaker. That's right, isn't it?
That's interesting, isn't it? Oh, do you have it set where if it's a phone number or not a picture, it won't show up? I think you can. Like Tansy. Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan, Happy New Year to
Happy
you.
New Year.
There you go. You got it.
Morning.
Morning, John.
Morning.
How's everybody today?
Living the
dream.
Living the dream. Yeah.
I think we're just waiting on Brian. Unless he's on, and I didn't.
Joe Moravito.
Oh, and Joe, I'm sorry, I thought I saw Joe.
Is Joe Mayor gonna be on?
There's Joe.
Joe Mayer should be hopping on the phone.
Lunch. Hey, Joe.
Oh.
Brian. Hi, Brian. Yes. Karen.
Yeah, it's hot, thanks.
Brian, I want some.
Lock the front door. Only because I'm on a call, yeah. Thanks. See you in a few.
Brian, you guys are in first place.
Yeah, what do you mean, basketball?
Yeah, you're 1-0 in the league.
1-0, yeah,
Christ.
yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't check the lineup. Did UMass Lowell have to play their cheerleaders because of COVID? I mean, what happened?
No, tell you the truth, man, they had a lot of really good athletes there.
I know.
I was shocked.
Yeah, what happened? So,
Anyways, enjoy it. You're in first place today.
yeah, yeah. Well, good. So,
Good. Okay.
Are we all, here? Stacy, is that a go?
Here we go, yes.
Okay. Like to call to order this special meeting of the Broome County Local Development Corporation of January 5th, 2022. At this time, we welcome comments from anybody on the call relative to matters concerning the LDC. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes, if you will. I do not see anybody raising their hand. Moving on to item number 3 on our agenda, and I'm going to read a slightly revised version of this resolution as a result of suggestions made, I believe, by our secretary. Resolution authorizing the BC LDC to request and accept American Rescue Plan funds in the amount of $5 million from the town of Union, Broome County, New York, for the purpose of economic development, including but not limited to grants and other financial assistance for site development and other economic priorities to advance the interests of the citizens of Broome County, New York. Stacy, you want to take it from here?
Be happy to. Good afternoon, everyone. So the purpose of today is to accept and then subsequently request funds from the town of Union. And that is the American Rescue Plan or ARPA funds for the amount of $5 million to support economic development projects in the town. Since the influx of ARPA funds in many communities, local governments are electing to redirect these funds to support various economic development projects. We are not alone in that. The total amount combined between the town and county that they have asked our LDC to support is about 13.5 million. There is an influx of monies going to the town of Union that they are distributing directly for a project on Washington Avenue. So the total amount of 13.5 million will support projects such as the 59 Lester Ave project, the IBM Country Club project, and the Oakdale Mall redevelopment. So the purposes of today would be to accept the 5 million and request those funds from the town for support of those projects.
Any questions for Stacy?
Yeah, Stacy, I have a question. So we're accepting $5 million from the town of Union. And how is it, is that all going to the Oakdale Mall, or is that being distributed among different projects?
So the Oakdale Mall per our subsequent meeting with the town of Union and Broome County, the mall project combined will receive $10 million to support infrastructure, the redevelopment of the infrastructure there. So essentially what is happening is they're providing the pool for us to distribute those funds with the breakdown of 1.5 million to the Victory Project, 2 million to the IBM Country Club project, and 10 million to to the Oakdale Mall. So we're receiving funds and dispersing them according to those total dollar amounts.
Okay, yeah, I understand. I saw the spreadsheet. I'm just wondering, is this 5 million, is the town is, we're requesting 5 million from the town for economic development. Is this 5 million all going, because they're committing 5 million to the Oakdale Mall, I believe. Am I correct or no?
No, they are committing $5 million for those projects. We are receiving those funds and administering them according to the schedule that I sent to you. So the county is giving us an influx and the town is giving us an influx, and they've stated that this is how they would like those dollars broken down or distributed, excuse me.
Okay, so I guess my question is how do we get to we've already accepted 5 million from the county for the Oakdale Mall, correct?
Yes, we have, and previously 3.5 million from them as well for additional support prior to this.
For the Oakdale Mall.
In total for all of those projects.
Okay, so I guess my question is, my question is, on this sheet, we have $10 million earmarked for the Oakdale Mall, correct?
Correct.
This is our spreadsheet, right? Of how we're dispersing money. So my question is, how did we get $10 million from the mall? How much came from the county and how much came from the town?
I mean, essentially, I guess we were just told 10 million to the mall, 2 million to the country club, and 1.5 to Victory Building. So those monies combined are 13.5 million, of which the town is providing 5. They did not specify a specific breakdown within that 13.5. They just said these are the total dollar amounts for those projects. I don't know how else to explain it.
So put another way, we're receiving from the town and the county combined 13 million, whatever, in ARPA funds. We have shared with them, exchanged with them the information on this spreadsheet as to how that total bucket will be allocated. And so what we're doing today is accepting 5 million towards that big total. Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes, and that the only thing I would reverse is say is they've determined to us those values for those projects and we are distributing accordingly. Does that make, yeah.
Yeah, so the question that is really somebody else's problem, I suppose, but I don't want us to become complicit in an error, right? Somehow there are limitations on the use of those funds, right, broadly. And somebody at the county level for the county and at the township level for the township should opine that this schedule doesn't in some way create a problem with respect to any of those limitations.
Correct, and we're working with the town and the county on that, yeah.
And Brian, to follow up on that point, it's a very valid point. If you look at the Town of Union's resolution, it's fairly squishy, and it's squishy because I think when it was voted on, and I wasn't at that meeting, but when it was voted on, I'm assuming they're all trying to figure out what this money can actually be used for, which is why my suggestion, assuming we proceed with this, is that Joe Mayer and Alan Pope sit down and talk through, because it says therein may be further refined, amended, or qualified by the town board. So I think to protect the LDC, Joe Mayer and Alan Pope need to have a heart-to-heart discussion to make sure we're doing the right thing with these funds. That's all.
Correct. And what we're doing is with the projects themselves is we're requesting information on the expenditures that they're seeking, that they're essentially seeking reimbursement on in some cases, and making sure, cross-referencing that to ensure that they are qualified eligible uses through ARPA.
Clearly.
So, yeah. No check, essentially no funds would be distributed until we can confirm that accordingly.
Stacy, so the county and the town are in agreement for this allocation, correct? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we had a meeting following our last board meeting. I'm sorry, December became a blur with the holidays. Following our December meeting, we had a subsequent, I think some board members were able to attend with the county and the town to ensure we were all on the same page with our understanding of the total dollar amount, the total allocation, the projects to be allocated. So yes.
Okay, so I'll go back to my original point. So we're getting $5 million from the town. And by this spreadsheet, we're allocating the entire 5 million to the mall.
I think, Mayor, what's happening is there's a bucket and the money's going into a bucket, and then it's being dispersed according to the wishes of the two governmental entities. I don't think it's this 5 million is for this and this 5 million is for that. I think it's all being thrown into a bucket.
So the LDC, so far, just to keep you up to date, so far we've received the amount of $3.5 million. We are setting up a separate account through the LDC for tracking purposes. So all ARPA funds will go into this account. We're creating reporting documents, requests for reimbursement. As I said, in some cases, expenditures may have already been done. And then we're going to request of those projects that they submit a form outlining what they're seeking the funds for. We're cross-referencing that with the county and the town to make sure it qualifies for ARPA, and then we would distribute funds accordingly. So yeah, so there's we're developing that process right now. So
Yeah,
yes,
but
it's
all the
all
money-
going into money.
All the money that we have earmarked here has already been given to us by the county for these specific projects.
No, we have not gotten the 5 million from the county yet.
No, I'm
Only
saying, but
the-
it's earmarked, like the 1,500 for the Paul's project, that's coming from the county's funding, is it not? 1.5 million.
1.5 has been outlined, well, I mean,
No.
again, no.
No, it's going into a bucket. It's going
Okay.
into a bucket, all the money, and it's going to be allocated out, and it's technically going to come out the way the town and the county decide it's going to come out. The dollars aren't going to change, but the allocation will change.
Right, right. So our meeting was to say, okay, we're all in agreement that the 1.5 will go to the Paulus project, Victory Building. The 2 will go to the IBM Country Club project, and the 10 will go to the Oakdale Mall with no specific breakdown. It's all in this pool of the total dollars that we're receiving.
Right, but
We're putting it all into the same.
a lot of this has already been earmarked by the county when we originally received it, was it not? Based on their,
I think we need to undo that, Mayor. I think we need to get something from the county to clean that up, quite frankly. I know, it's frustrating. I can
well,
see it on your
it
face.
just seems like people are looking from some kind of cloak. They want to allocate it, but they don't want to specify. They're looking for us to they're telling us where they want it to go, but they're somehow making it look like it's our decision. I mean, based on the spreadsheet, the money's all been allocated right here. What, 14.59, 14,590,000 has been specifically earmarked to a number of different projects. And 10 million has been earmarked from the mall. And we know the county specifically earmarked 5. And all these other projects on here are money coming from the county. So that means the 5 million we're taking today from the town of Union is going to the mall. Because if you deduct all these other projects, at least 5 million on, from the town, and we said we're putting 10, it already says $10 million to the mall. So my only question is why it doesn't specifically say the 5 million we're getting today is earmarked for the Oakdale Mall.
Because I don't believe they want the full 5 million to be earmarked to the mall. I believe they want, and their intention was to scatter it amongst projects. And I think the county did its thing, and then the town did its thing, and there was a disconnect.
Okay, so, but then if they earmark other projects, that $10 million won't be a firm figure because we would have to take some of that 5 and redistribute it, right? Because all the other money's earmarked.
I do not believe the total dollars are going to change, or that the allocation is going to change. It's just a matter of whose money is being allocated, Mayor.
Well, I understand, but we have $14,590,000. Do we have any more money than that that's listed here?
No.
So the
Nothing
money's already
more.
been earmarked. If it changes, something's got to give. I mean, if we reallocate these funds, one of these projects we've already committed to is going to lose their funding. Right?
The total allocation is not, the total dollars is not going to change, and the allocation to the project is not going to change. What may change is who's contributing to each specific project. That's the only thing that will change.
So can I take a swing at building, at least conceptually, what I think the steps are here? So,
Please.
yeah, so one step is we receive the funds from two different governmental entities, and there should be some resolution that says why the money is, it doesn't have to get into all kinds of elaborate detail, but why is the money moving from township and county to the LDC? And then we're holding that money, and conceptually, we're holding it in, what I'll call two sub-accounts, one associated with the county, one associated with the town of Union. We will dispense those funds for purposes that are consistent with the original resolution when we receive some action from each of the governmental entities that says, hey, as the county of Broome, we are authorizing you to dispense, $3.5 million from the fund that we've already allocated to you to this project, and we certify to you that the project is eligible for ARPA funding in that amount. And then we disperse the funds. And then we would do that on a recurring basis with each sub-allocation. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I mean, and that's essentially, as noted, we're setting up an account specifically for these funds as we begin to move as these projects begin to advance. For example, the 59 Lester Ave project might submit a request for close to all of that, or I mean, we're going to distribute as we receive the request for distribution. So, that's why I'm saying there's not a specific breakdown of how much is going to go to each. It's going to be, we're going to have an account with this much money in it. We're going to have a process by which we request, or they make requests for the funds. We're going to then verify they're eligible funds, and we're going to disperse accordingly. So it may turn out that one project gets paid out before another. We don't know, we don't
Yeah,
know
the
how.
point,
that would-
Brian, to your point and Stacy's point, but the point is we already have a spreadsheet here with all the money earmarked. It's already been identified where it's going. So my question is, it's already been earmarked, and out of all this money, only 5 million of it is the town of Union. The rest of it is county money.
And that's
And
what
all
the
these
town-
other projects have already been identified with county money. And so we see a new figure for the mall of 10 million. And unless we have more money coming in, 5 million from the town of Union is going to the mall. Now, if they're trying to disguise it, but we got a spreadsheet here of $14,590,000. And it's earmarked already by the county. We earmarked it based on the county's recommendation where they wanted the money to go.
So,
And the only difference here is the mall amount went from 10 million to from 5 million to 10 million. And that's because we're accepting 5 million from the town of Union.
But I believe the county's resolution basically says support economic development projects. So I don't think it pinned down.
But yes, it did. We've earmarked all these funds based on their recommendations.
Yeah, IBM Country Club was the only one.
So is there such a thing as a joint resolution? Could they issue a joint resolution and kind of have all this in there for us? I don't know.
Well,
No.
if we go back to what I was trying to outline, right? So Mayor, to your point, let's say for the sake of argument that, we receive an authorization to dispense a certain amount of funds from the town of Union sub-account. And they've asked us to dispense more money than is in there. Well, we can't, right? Dear town of Union, you've asked us to dispense 5 million and there's only 3 million left in the bucket. So doesn't that protect us, right? If each release of funds is being done pursuant to a specific authorization by the municipality. Now, we know what they want to do, and that's so be it, but we would still be releasing it pursuant to a specific directive each time.
I'm not worried about being held accountable for overspending. My point is that we were provided a spreadsheet that specifically outlined the projects where the money is going. The decision has been made. We're not having any input on the decision whatsoever. And the money is specifically allocated to a number of projects. All that money, 9.5 million, came from the county and has been allocated. We're getting 5 million from the town, and the mall allocation has gone from 5 million to 10 million. So, you know, I'm not a philosophy major in deduction and induction, but by my deduction is the extra 5 million is going to the Oakdale Mall.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And so at some point, if my construct works, then the town of Union says to the LDC, please dispense $5 million from the sub-account for the town of Union to, you know, entity X for purposes of the Oakdale Mall.
Well, we've
So-
already done that. It's on the spreadsheet. It's a
I know,
done deal.
but you know, I'm just trying to say, you seem to be concerned that they're using us as a cloak.
Right.
But if they have to specifically authorize a release in some subsequent resolution, then the cloak goes away, doesn't it?
No, I don't think
Yes.
they have to. They don't have to. I think we're accepting all I'm saying is we've got $5 million coming from the town. The allocation for the mall has gone from 5 million to 10 million. The 5 million from the town is going to the mall. Just say it in the resolution.
But
Because
the only,
otherwise, then if we're not ready to do that, then the resolution is premature.
the only dollars that I believe by name the county earmarked specifically was the 2 million for the IBM Country Club. So the previous resolutions for the 3.5 million that we received from the county and the 5 million.
I believe
the
they
five-
earmarked money for Paula's project as well. That came from the county, I'm pretty sure. The 1.5.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. The 5 mil, so the county earmarked $5 million for the Oakdale Mall in Johnson City. The previous resolution was 3.5 million for, can you read that?
It just says, including but not limited to grants and other financial assistance for site development and other economic priorities to advance the interest of the citizens of Broome County.
I think it was pretty broad.
Yes.
It was, but subsequently, we've earmarked this based on the county's direction. Well, the point is, okay, the bottom line here is whatever, the money's been earmarked. However, it was whether county,
Only the 5 million for the mall. Now, in the previous conversation on the IBM Country Club was initially $1 million from the town and $1 million from the county. The town did come in later than the county did with their first resolution. So what the county has said is, we're giving you a total of $8.5 million, and here's how we're planning. We'd like to support that. The town is coming in saying, we're also providing $5 million, and we're all on the same page with how we support that. The only actual resolution that we have that earmarked a specific entity was the 5 million from the county for the
Right.
mall.
but I agree what you're saying, but didn't they tell us they wanted to put 2 million into the IBM Country Club? Wasn't that a direction from the county
I
legislature?
think what they were saying is, should the town not come in with any ARPA funds,
It was
they
one
would
of
be
the,
willing to support the full 2 million.
Okay.
right.
All right, I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
The
Back
town
to the
is now-
original question is, the original question here is, we've gotten another $5 million, and we changed our spreadsheet for the Oakdale Mall from 5 million to 10 million. All this other money was already been previously allocated. And so that means the 5 million that were coming in today, we've put into this spreadsheet already for the Oakdale Mall. We've allocated the whole thing for the Oakdale Mall.
No. The
Yes.
town and the county have expressed the desire to provide $10 million of support for the mall through ARPA. The only one that was specifically earmarked was the 5 million from the county. The 2 million is a combination thereof. The 1.5 is a combination thereof.
And
And
Mayor,
it's the
Yeah, I
Five.
understand that, but the point is,
Yeah,
the change today, we've got 14.5 million. All this allocation was done prior to today's meeting, except for the Oakdale Mall figure has changed. All this other money that's been allocated was allocated prior to today. And what's changed from last week till today is the figure for the Oakdale Mall has gone from 5 million to 10 million. There's no, since all this money's been allocated, unless we're expecting, I don't know how the town can say they might want to change it. We've already allocated it. How can they change it? We've already put it into the mall project.
They have their prerogative to decide where their money is going.
Then why did we put it into the mall? Why did we put it into the mall project then?
I keep going back to the same point, and that is it's a bucket, or there's a bunch of money going into a bucket, and the entities are deciding where that money is going, Mayor.
But it's already been decided. You're showing me right now. It's all decided. There's no ambiguity here. You've laid out a spreadsheet where every dollar has been decided.
But but the spreadsheet doesn't say, and this dollar came from the county and this dollar came from the town. It basically says
Well, how much has come from the
$590,000 that came in. 9.59 million came from the county, 5 from the town, and it's going to be spent on these projects. That's the point.
But the point is, all of this was laid out prior today, except for the mall. The mall money, we had all these projects were previously identified. And so it was 9.5 million before today. Now it's 14 million. And the only change in this document is it's gone from 5 to 10 for the mall. So we're playing it. So I don't understand why we're playing the shell game. All the money is specifically allocated on the sheet. There's no maneuvering room unless they vote to defund a project that they've already approved.
Yeah, and I'm not following you on the shell game. I mean, it's
Well, because we're trying to say it's going into a bucket, and the money, 9.5 million of this money from the county has already been allocated by the county and by us. We got an influx of $5 million today from the town. The only figure on this spreadsheet that has changed is the mall allocation has gone from 5 million to 10 million. So my conclusion is that the town's 5 million is going to the mall because all the other money has been previously allocated.
Yeah,
Well, that doesn't necessarily follow.
no.
I want to make sure I understand this. If we've got we've got 8.5 million from the county and 5 million from the village or from the town, correct?
Yep. Yes.
And of that, 5 million of the county was specifically earmarked.
Correct.
Which leaves 8.5 million.
Correct.
So why wouldn't the 8.5 million then just be allocated pro rata? I mean,
Jim, it's already allocated on the
right?
spreadsheet.
These are the projects in these amounts, and they're going to share in them in proportion to how much they each contributed. I mean, I think we're making this more. I agree with Brian as well. I mean, we're just making this more complicated than it needs to be.
The problem is the county did what it did. The town, it took longer for the town to come around to it, and that's why there's a timing problem here.
Right, but in the end, there's an amount that we have. There's an amount in the bucket that's going to get spent pro rata on these projects.
Correct.
It doesn't matter how you got to the total.
And that's our
amount.
plan. Disbursement, that is our, again, there's a process in place by which they have to demonstrate what funds. We don't have sub accounts and we're saying, okay, this pool is we're saying we have this much in funding to support these projects. And as disbursements are requested, we will review, we will verify use, and then we will disperse accordingly. So yeah, it's coming out of the same amount of money, of same account, pool of
Right,
money.
but the money has all been earmarked. It's all been earmarked to specific projects. And my only point is the 5 million, the only variable that's changed in this is prior to today, all the money's been earmarked. and there was 5 million for the Oakdale Mall. Today, there's 10 million for the Oakdale Mall. The change is because we're getting 5 million from the town of Union. That's all I want to reflect. I mean, that's the reality, unless we scrap this whole spreadsheet and put it all back in a bucket and open it up to other projects, but all the money's allocated. It's all allocated. The
course
county's
it
money
was
is all
allocated.
allocated.
They're not going to give us unallocated money.
You're right. And that's why I'm saying the 5 million from the town of Union we got today went to the mall line. It went
But
to the mall line.
It increased the mall line, that's correct, but the county's contributed $5 million of 14.59, which is 35% roughly. So my thought would be kind of build on what Brian said. There's going to be an application for one of these projects, and 35% of it is from the town, and 65% of the funds is from the county. And they're going to apply for it, and we're going to get a resolution back that says, yeah, go ahead and spend it. And that's what's going to happen. Am I missing something?
The money's all been allocated. It's
Yeah, but
all
it doesn't
allocated
say-
on the sheet.
It's
It's all been
allocated.
committed.
It's been committed in terms, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been committed in terms of total aggregates for the projects. It
Correct.
hasn't been committed in terms of who spends what. And it's going to get spent basically pro rata, right? And in proportion to their relevant contributions. Is that incorrect?
I think you hit right on the head.
We've already allocated the county's money. All the money the county has given us has been specifically allocated. And today, we're getting 5 million. The only number that has changed on the spreadsheet is the number for the Oakdale Mall. The county put all their money into a whole host of projects. It's already been allocated. And they had 5 million. Last week there was 5 million for the Oakdale Mall. Now there's 10 million. The only thing that has changed is we're receiving 5 million from the town of Union, and we put it in the mall line.
My recollection, correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, is that the only amount that the county specifically earmarked, there was only 5 million of their total contribution was specifically earmarked. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So
Yeah,
that means
and
the entire rest is
That's
not
the bottom
earmarked.
line.
Right.
Yeah, but all the other
Nothing-
money's allocated. We've
nothing has-
allocated all the other money.
Nothing has been paid out and nothing has been committed specifically. I mean, we have a spreadsheet which shows where the money, we believe the money will be spent, and that's the total amount.
Right.
total of the aggregate, yeah.
Well,
Correct.
the point is, right, we've identified where the money's going to be spent. And the variable that changed today is we got 5 million from the town and went from 5 million to the town. We changed the line. So I'm done. Call to a vote. Or have anybody else speak if they want, but I'm very concerned about the whole process.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, looking for a motion.
Yeah, but before the motion, I just don't want to lose sight of the wanting some assurance from the authority who allocated the funds, that the funds are being spent consistent with whatever the rules are under ARPA for
Absolutely.
that entity.
Yes, absolutely.
Understood.
Thank you, Brian.
That's a good point.
That's a motion, correct, Brian?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Joe. Any further discussion? All right, we'll have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No,
Any abstentions? Okay, motion carried. Any other business other than adjournment? Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Jim. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.